The kid drinking beer too.
Oh no! Oh, what's going on?
This is
satanic, bro.
someone didn't put the Gellerfield on.
And then it starts blowing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's yeah, we didn't put the Gellerfield on when we went into the war, dude. That's what happened.
Dude. Yeah, so I mean, and obviously AI is going to get better over time, but
Yeah.
the point is that like there's just things that AI can't do by itself and probably won't be able to do by
Nah.
itself. A good example of this as well is I have a coworker who kind of as a side project made a fluid simulator as like um, a mobile app, so you could like shake the phone and it would react like as if there was water inside the phone.
Really?
Yeah,
That's...
so he wanted to make it from 2D to 3D, and he just like wasn't, didn't have a lot of time. He's still going to school and stuff, and so he put it into ChatGPT and told it like, "Hey, can you make this 3D?" And it took him about 2 hours of coaxing ChatGPT by just kind of like he would put it in, it would spit out some code, and he would say, "No, this is wrong here." And after about 2 hours of coaxing it he uploaded the code to his phone and it worked perfectly as a 3D liquid simulator. So like it's going to need human interaction
Yeah.
to be able to do things, but just tasks like that, because like he coded the other two dimensions by himself. He just needed help with the last axis, and
Yeah.
so you know I think you're going to see a lot of uses like that with ChatGPT. So
Right now, people are just having fun with stuff like this, like the Rock eating rocks.
I mean, look at that! Like it's doing its best.
Yeah, it's not quite there, but it's damn close.
That is not good. That reminds me of like a monkey, like the head shape that keeps turning into like a elongated head. That's terrifying. Rock when the rock eating rocks.
But then there are some really funny ones.
Oh, that is a nightmare feel right there, dude.
Well, here's some better ones, right?
The Balenciaga ones. Oh man.
Oh
yes.
yeah, people love these Balenciaga like AI memes.
Is Balenciaga? What is Balenciaga? Is it like a fashion?
Satanists.
Oh yeah, you're
But
right.
this is the stuff I like the most. People have been doing like bodybuilder memes.
Oh yeah,
The boy who lifted.
The Star Wars one is pretty good too.
Yeah. The biggest takeaway I get from these AI memes where everyone is fucking ripped is that literally everybody looks better when they're in shape.
Why can't I drink it, sir?
Literally everybody. I don't even think it's a controversial take. Like, look at Dobby.
Dobby.
Yeah, Dobby's not looking pretty bad.
There is only weight, and those too weak to lift it.
Yeah.
Dang, Draco's dude, his lats are huge.
Yeah, no.
Who's that?
That's Luna Lovegood.
Take a look at how much he benches.
Severus Snape. Dude, even the groundskeeper looking fit like that. And the head.
Part of that video.
I think my favorite use of like this AI stuff is that there are a couple channels I've found where the entirety of the content is based on AI generated things. So you've got this YouTube channel is just like the three presidents and Ben Shapiro.
Oh yeah, I've seen the one about Warhammer 40K armies too. Dude, this thing is. Dude. Oh, dude, is he really like in a little robe? Oh.
Yeah. AI generated art, AI generated voices. It's so funny, and you can still see the imperfections. Like look at the text on Donnie's paper here. It's not very good. It's gibberish. The AI was not able to replicate text.
Yeah, then Biden's right hand, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's just a stump. But this guy Malithrex,
hey, Trump's looking pretty sick though in that.
I know, right? This dude's doing more. He updates the art every once in a while. This is where it started.
What manner of trickery is
this? Look at their drip. It's looking so much better. But
Yoden?
look at the hands on. Yeah,
Yeah.
he goes by Joden.
Yoden. No, Joden, Barack, Donatello.
Yeah, this is
That's fucking
this is
funny.
a pretty dope series. Like, I never really got into Critical Role, but Malifrex's shit I will listen to all day. Definitely worth a listen. But yeah, the idea that people can make their entire YouTube channels off of AI. Oh, this stuff is always good too. AI
Planet
TV.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah, look at this.
Meme and
Grab that
Jelani.
Mountain Dew. Wormhole closes in 5 minutes.
What planet are you guys from?
Planet Mountain Dew. The place where all your dreams come true.
It's a sick beat, dude.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Hey, sick beat.
I'm gonna have to figure out what music this is.
Oh,
Beat by
Kaiser Beats.
Let me see if this dude will let me use this shit.
Oh,
Purchase.
sick.
Oh, I have to purchase Beats. I'll have to look at this guy later. Maybe I will. But no, I think AI is. Whoa, World of Gymcraft. Hold on.
My child,
Wrath of the Lift King.
ever since you did your first squat, I knew you were born for great qualities.
Oh, yo, the voice.
The
Yep.
bicep curl.
Father, why won't my bicep grow?
Arthas Menelift, you must not skip leg day.
My entire bicep must be purged.
I can't watch you do this.
I won't train biceps with you, Arthas, until you train legs.
Yeah.
I watched as your friends and family tried to stop you from growing into the monster you would become. The Lift King.
I have trained
Lift
legs
King.
every day to hunt you, but I have failed in surpassing your biceps.
I failed in surpassing your
Sylvanas.
bicep.
The Natty Crusade comes for you, Arthas.
The Natty Crusade.
Try me, Flex Ring. You cannot stop my army of growth. We have the finest blueberry flavored Tron and TRT in Northrend.
The finest roids in Northrend. You underestimate the power of the fell.
Dude, that is sick.
you can't.
That makes
fucking-
me want to play again, dude.
Dude, it makes me.
No,
wanna do it
oh
again.
man, I want to play some Wrath of the Lich King, but then just meme this. That's what we're gonna do. That's our reenact. That's our guild. We're gonna role play as we're gonna fight the Lich King.
Bring them before the gym.
Dude,
His power.
but
Why is it
no,
so
people have been
powerful?
using
It's
AI in these
natural.
really funny ways,
You
and I'm all
idiot.
about it.
The Lift
I'm
King
not
has sent
worried
you to
about
your
it.
doom.
Yeah.
The Lift King,
I tell you that
Man.
Natty's strength will always prevail.
Natty strength.
Quiet, old man, or this may be the last lift you will ever pump.
My
The
dear
last
boy.
lift you will ever pump.
Yeah.
Father.
All I know is, like, you know, people have been doing it. Like, Lord of the Gym. This one's good, too.
That man in the corner? Who is he?
He's one of them bodybuilders. They're dangerous folk, they are.
It's yeah, it's pretty low.
His name is I never heard, but round here he's known as Arrogane.
Arrogane. Jesus. Stick me.
They are taking the hobbits to the gym.
Yo, Sam is shredded, son.
Protein shake.
It comes in shakes. I'm getting one.
One does not simply walk after a leg workout.
What about protein shake?
You've already had it?
We had one, yes. What about second protein shake?
He is Arrogane, son of Aratrain.
I'm saying, man.
Dude, these are off the chain.
I'm Harry Potter 2, The Forbidden Weight. Dude, you can't tell me that. This makes me think Socrates had a point when he said that physical fitness is a civilian's duty.
You're a squatter, Harry.
Using the squat rack on the third floor corridor is out of bounds to everyone who does not wish to die under the most painful weight.
Your father was a twig spotter.
Protein go.
Snape! Don't hide from us. We will find you.
Dad? There you are, gym rat.
Look at his funny muscles.
What do you see, Harry?
It's me, squatting the forbidden weight.
It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to squat. Do you train legs, Severus?
Dude, what?
Always.
Listen, last night I'm guessing Snape went to the forbidden corridor to squat the forbidden weight. That's why he's limping.
Harry, if
If you can lift it too.
Look at
That means
Ron.
he is your real father.
We go tonight.
Yeah, we got to come back to every day we stray further from God.
I don't know. I'm into
every
it.
day we stray further from Jod.
Listen, you can't tell me that not everyone in that photo looked better if they were physically fit. Like I'm saying, that's my hot take. Who was it? Was it Socrates or Plato who said physical fitness was the responsibility of every civilian?
Our Lord and Savior Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I want to see this now.
I don't remember.
I'm looking for it. Oh well, I'll find it. I'll find another time. But I think he's right. Whoever that was, I think he's completely right about it. But no, I think people are still trying to figure out exactly what they can do with AI. And to your point earlier, Todd, I think it relies a lot on human input. Like you get the real question is, I think, so it's basically a machine of inputs and outputs. How would the machine determine what the inputs are? Has anyone even done that yet?
Oh, what was the question?
How would a machine determine the inputs for this? What is basically an input output?
The Enigma machine did that.
The Enigma machine.
Yeah, it did.
The Enigma. What is the Enigma machine? Show me. Tell me more.
The Enigma machine was a decoding machine created in World War II to hack or to crack the German. Excuse me, never mind. No. The Enigma machine was the German. The German cipher machine. Think of like a typewriter, but it was for codes, right?
Right.
It was a cipher machine for coded messages, things like that. And then they broke Enigma, quote unquote. I think his name was
I'm gonna play this with muted audio.
what was his name? He was gay.
The dude.
Turing, Alan Turing.
Alan Turing, yeah. Is it Alan Turing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. I can't believe people were able to make stuff like this that many years ago. It's like it makes me feel like society has not really progressed. I bet you.
I mean, if you'd asked somebody, from the '60s, 20 years ago, we should have been on the moon already. So
yeah, and then we like to think of ourselves
living on the moon, I should say, not just on the moon.
There. Well, I ran across a really interesting thought experiment, right? Like, we like to think of ourselves as very intelligent, very ascended in today's world. But let's say you had how big can a USB stick be? Like, you can have a USB stick with like 50 gigabytes of data, and it might have, all kinds of information. It might have like textbooks. It might have like, you could put a lot on 60 gigabytes. Just use your imagination. Now, let's say you get transported back in time to like primitive societies, and you have access to all this information on this 50 gigabyte flash drive. Like, it's there, but you've got no way to access it. You've got no way to verify its content. So you could say, well, I know all the secrets of forging metal. I know how electricity works. I know how, steam combustion works. I know how atomic fission works. And, it's all here. Like, how could you explain it? Could you, you might know how electricity works, but if you were thousands and thousands of years ago, what would any of that information still be practical to you? Possibly not. It kind of reminds me of this thing I said. I saw, like, if we do discover aliens, like, let's say you're the person who makes contact with aliens, what you should be able to expect and what you should tell them. It makes the point of saying you're likely to be assassinated.
If you work with aliens?
No, it goes into like the theoretical, like, what happens if you make first contact with like a.
Well, as the God Emperor says, we purge
all Xenos.
Yeah, purge the Xenos. purge, burn the heretic. You know.
No, it was kind of interesting though because it talked about like how to demonstrate basic fundamentals of math, like how to develop that our number system is a base 10 system because of our fingers. Um,
There's the base 6 is the Sumerians, right?
I don't know. Is it? What is base? I didn't know they had a base.
Yeah, the
6.
Sumerian mathematical scale is different. I think. Look it up.
Interesting. Base 6. Let's see.
What was the? What other?
Oh, a centenary numeral system has 6 as its base. It's been adopted independently by a number of cultures. Why 6 though? I always figured it'd be based on like our like hands.
Might have something to do with their religion or something like that.
Yeah.
Number 6 was an important number.
Number 6 is an important number in a lot of places. It's important in Christianity too.
But anyways, yeah, I mean, we definitely I think society has advanced in a lot of ways, but I think in some ways we stagnated because the end of the Cold War made us care about very, very different things, and that wasn't always for the best.
Yeah, it kind of shifted our like priorities a little bit, right? Instead of living to survive, we were living for I don't know what comfort. Like, how would you say that priorities got shifted around?
Well, so we used to justify, for example, the moon landings by, it was dunking on the Russians. And so it was good publicity. Once we made it to the moon and once we had landed on it, it became less and less important to go back because the Soviet Union just was not capable of keeping up. In fact, like if you look at the Cold War, the space race is what really destroyed the Soviet Union. They could not keep up with us economically. And so between that and everything else going on in the world, Afghanistan and all of those conflicts, they just couldn't keep up economically. And so they just bankrupted themselves trying to keep up with us. But it became difficult to justify it to Congress because all this stuff is funded by the politicians, and it was hard to tell a politician, yeah, instead of putting this money somewhere else, we want to put it towards going back to the moon and doing scientific research, because it's that short sight versus long term argument. Unfortunately, a lot of people in Congress have absolutely no long-term vision. They just want stuff here in the now, and that's like a huge problem with American society now, is that we're so hung up on what's right in front of us, on competing with our neighbor to have the best stuff and things like that, that I mean, we're basically shooting ourselves in the foot every day.
Yeah, that's why
That's fair.
That's why I'm more and more compelled by some of the biblical stories about like poverty, right? There's like in Catholicism there are these like things called charisms, which are like spiritual gifts provided by God that you can give to others to help bring them closer to God. And they're different from talents, because talents can be something you can inherit. Talents can be something that you develop and train and you can use for yourself. But a charism is something you give to others. One of those charisms is poverty. I remember we were doing a workshop for charisms, and we pointed out that, like, for the most part, you could say, hey, you might have the charism for charity, you might have the charism for leadership, but you would never want to tell somebody, hey, might have the charism for poverty. You should consider impoverishing yourself. You wouldn't say that about celibacy either. But I remember that
you wouldn't?
No, you shouldn't. It's kind of insulting. It's like, you know what? You should just never have sex. Just don't even have a family. You're better off just being celibate and be a priest. Why not? The story of the old woman who gives her last 2 coins and being seen as someone who's giving more than anybody else because she's giving her all. It's a compelling story to me, because it sort of harkens to the idea that there are things in this world that are a lot more valuable than money. Like there's so much. It's a pretty ephemeral thing, because what's it gonna matter when we die? We can pass it along, sure, but for the most part, generational wealth doesn't last more than 4 generations or something like that.
Tell that to the Waltons.
Well, yeah, I mean, generally, there's always but that's the exception that proves the rule, don't you think?
That no, I mean because they're gonna get royalties until Walmart goes away, which
Yeah,
is
you're
gonna
right.
be soon.
Sure, but what about in the case of like you have like celebrities who are super wealthy because they're famous and their children are just
Oh, they're
trash
they're gonna
bags.
get poor. Like
Have you ever
the
seen?
Kardashians are going away.
Yeah, have you ever seen Jamie Lee Curtis's child? We're
No.
celebrating her because of Pride Month.
Who? Jamie Lee Curtis?
Jamie Lee Curtis's offspring.
I don't even know.
Check it out. It should be on the screen.
What the hell?
This is a Twitch streamer, by the way. I hear Twitch is dying now, and I'm 100% for it.
Is it? Yeah, everyone's going to go to OnlyFans because Twitch is because people are doing OnlyFans stuff on Twitch, and it's on the front page.
Are they
And you can see,
really?
yeah, and you can, and you like it'll pop up, even if you don't have an account on. So like kids are
That's not
getting
good.
exposed. Yeah, kids are getting exposed to pornography if they just like I'm gonna watch my favorite gamer, and then they go to Twitch.com, then log in or whatever.
Yeah.
They'll see, then they'll see it.
Yeah, I thought that'd be an issue with Twitter for a bit because there's a lot of people who post really graphic stuff on Twitter also.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure how they were gonna get away with it, but I don't understand like people who like this dude's he's not an unattractive person. He's a little schlubby. Like, but they think this is an upgrade. I don't get it. I don't understand.
It's like this. It's like this, Lamar. Like,
Oh my
check it
God,
out.
I don't
Right.
quite understand. I'm missing.
There's a video of an argument at some place, probably in some public area, where this guy proposes. There's either objective morality, and he's arguing for the existence of God in the Christian way, in the Christian mindset, versus versus Islam or Judaism or Buddhism, or whatever case. And there's a woman that's like, you're hateful. Da, da. Well, okay, well, check this out, right? I believe in objective morality, where I am told, it is, it's told or it's said that, you're going to kill my kid. I think that that's wrong, but you think it's okay, and they may think it's okay.
Yeah.
So nothing matters, and nothing is, it's fine. So we can do whatever we want, right? And then she says, well, and then he argues. Actually, let me find it again because I think I sent it to you. I'm pretty sure I did send it to you. In fact, I know I did.
Throw that to me sometime. But now that we're on the topic of pride stuff, let's talk about the trans surgeon the queer surgeon being super fucking queer. His words, by the way.
The what?
There's a surgeon who was. Let me see. I need to find my notes. Had it up, but then I lost my power. No, I made a note of this because I wanted to talk about it today.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's share this tab. There we go. Blair Peters. I perform gender-affirming mastectomies for 3 young adults and adolescents today. By the way, they told us it wasn't happening to kids. But what is your definition of a kid, Ruben? Like, is it age?
Anyone that can't vote? I guess 18. That's the modern idea.
Yeah.
Is 18. So.
What about you, Todd? Where do you draw the line between child and adult?
I mean, I guess 18 as well. But once you're old enough to move out of the house and live by yourself, then I think at that point, and I would say 21 personally, but I think 18 is kind of the compromise.
Right. And I asked.
Yeah, we got to remember that our founding fathers were between the ages of 20 to 50, and a lot of them were 27, 28. So if that's the age that we make revolution occur, then kids must be 14, 15 at that.
Yeah. So I asked that question. I asked this question. When this person says young adults, what presumably are they talking about?
Teenagers.
So under 18, you think?
Well, maybe 18 and up, but I think it's
19,
misleading
20.
because I think it's misleading. I think this is like the Freudian slip misleading, where they don't want. Well, this is the opposite of a Freudian slip, but they don't want it to show. Like here, when I read this, right, they got double mastectomies.
Yeah.
They're like, why would we do that? Do you have cancer.
Because they get paid to
Like
do
no,
it.
well, yeah, they do, and this is my huge thing here is because I like conspiracy theories. I think this is big pharma. Like 5 to 6 years ago,
Yeah.
everybody was like, big pharma is bad, and then COVID happened. And everyone said big pharma good, and since then, big pharma has just been chugging along, making people take pills,
Yeah.
cutting breasts off, making fake dicks, turning dicks inside out. Like this is bad.
The road
There's
to
Now, if you're an adult and you want to make your own choices, I'm not going to say decision, but your own choices, so be it. But we don't want to visit this stuff on kids.
Yeah.
No, there's a reason that we don't allow children to fight in wars. Now, and that is a war crime. That is a crime against humanity to force a child to fight in war. Why is it not a crime to remove the healthy breasts of a teenager that is going through phases as every young adult does, because puberty, makes your brain go haywire. It's like and a lot of the not the LGB community, but the T, a lot of them are either mentally they're affected in some capacity, whether it's autism or they're actually disabled, right? There's a phrase called trans, when it's cool to be trans.
trans trending.
Yeah, trans trending, that's real. I know trans people, and I'm not gonna, I'm a polite person. I pray for them, and I'm never gonna say to their face, like, trans people exist. Yeah, they do. I can see them in front of my face.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they are what they say they are.
Yeah.
I could say I'm a millionaire. I could say that I'm only 150 pounds and 6 foot, and I'm a handsome man. That's subjective.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, because in its identity is something that we have across every interaction with people. The relationship I have with you, Ruben, is different than the relationship I have with my coworkers. It's different than the relationship I have with my parents, with my siblings. So like who I am across different, cooperative interactions is different. So I'm never the same person to any one person, really. Even the relationship I have with you and Todd is different, because I've actually met you face to face. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Todd face to face, so even that creates a different dynamic because there's more context there. The moral statement of I am a good person. So like, let's not even talk about like objective things like millionaire or things like that. A abstract and subjective thing like I am a good person. You might meet people who think you're a dick. You might meet people who agree with you. You might meet people who, no matter what you do, no matter how you conduct yourself, someone's going to not like you, and that's just something you're going to have to deal with. I think we talked a little bit about that last time. But, they've been telling us for years that, these surgeries are not being conducted on people under the age of 18. Obviously not the truth.
That's a lie.
That's a fucking lie. They've been happening for a very long time. They also say that there isn't indoctrination in schools. We know that's a lie. But it's all in the guise of, well, if we don't do this for them, they're going to kill themselves. But I think you're right. I think it's a giant scheme to get people on a path of constant medicalization.
Yeah, they'll always have to dilate for the rest of their lives if they make a new vagina. They're always going to have testosterone injected into their body. They're always going to have to take pills, or just the pills, whatever. Oh, they don't actually need injections. Okay, great. You've now just made these pharmaceutical companies, way more money for the entire lifetime of this human being. It's like, think of it like this, right? It's this weird disassociation or something where I believe in crystals and healing, but then also I need medicine for the rest of my life because I was born in the wrong body. It's like, what are you talking about? It's so weird to me, right? And then on the Christian take, it's you're not born in the wrong body. God made you the way you are, and then they'll say, well, I'm gay. Did God make me gay? No, you decided to continue to revel in your sin.
Yeah. Ask Sodom and Gomorrah how that went. I don't want to cut you off. I'm just keeping an eye on the clock. It's almost 8 o'clock our time. You good for a little bit longer? I kind of want to talk about this RFK guy real quick.
Sure, let's talk about RFK.
All right. right, so RFK has been making a little bit of waves. He's been doing things other people have not yet done. Like he sat down for an interview with Jordan Peterson. He followed up the DeSantis announcement on Twitter by doing a Twitter Spaces. I haven't had a chance to listen to the Twitter Spaces, but I'm glad that he did so because everyone was accusing Elon Musk of being pro-right because DeSantis announced his presidential run using that platform. The fact that RFK Jr. is a Democrat already does a lot to kind of even that out, I think. Do you think that's a fair take, Todd?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if Elon Musk definitely, and I think that this is true of a lot of people who are classified as or voting as Republicans now, is they wouldn't necessarily have been Republicans like 20 years ago. And I think that they might have some different views socially, like they might be more lax on gay marriage and stuff like that, but they think that it's obviously gone too far. And so they've kind of been shoehorned into the Republican Party, and I think that's kind of where Elon Musk is at. And I think it shows that
To
Elon
salvage
Musk is at least serious about, his free speech. I don't know what you would call it, stance, I guess, when it comes to Twitter.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it shows he's neutral. I think it comes down to the fact that, like, how much do I trust RFK, right? Like, I have a hard time trusting any Democrat right now because it feels like, you're just gonna unfortunately kowtow to your party in the end because you want funding and stuff like that. And I don't think he's going to be able to beat Joe Biden because I don't think the Democrats want him. And, they didn't want Bernie Sanders in 2016. So he basically cheated and made it Hillary. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it was. And,
Well,
and so.
I think you're right. I don't know. I listened to his interview on Peterson's show, and I don't think I can trust him either. And I'll show you what I think is the biggest indication of why he cannot be
And
trusted.
trusting RFK?
Yeah, I don't think RFK is the left guy. I think he's better than Biden, but I don't think he's trustworthy.
Is it just like a callback to JFK that we're like, oh my gosh, he's gonna be good?
No, he talks about the fact he thinks CIA killed
Yeah.
RFK.
You know why why JFK got assassinated?
He wanted to take us off
He
of
was
the gold standard.
He was trying to take us.
He was trying to take us
back
back to
on.
the gold standard.
Yeah.
That's right. And then they blew his fucking brains out. Anyway,
They super suicided him from
let me tee this
200
up.
meters away.
So Peterson has been asking the question, when does the left go too far? Because we've seen right-wing authoritarian when that goes too far. What does it look like when the left goes too far? But there has never been anybody, I figured, no one's answered the question earnestly. And unfortunately, RFK kind of has the same problem where he doesn't really engage with it. But let me tee this up and let me know if you guys can hear this.
It's a two-party system. It's half the country. When do you think the left goes too far? And how would you, in your administration, draw a line between those who are reasonable and who show common sense and those who have gone off the rail? Where is off the rail on the leftist side?
I think that's a very important question. Do they have the ability to set a standard of what's okay and what's not? And I think that any Democratic candidate who wants to convince the American public they're not like an ideologue, like we've seen of other Democrats lately, going to have to answer this question. Let's see what RFK has to say.
Well, under what circumstance would I be called upon to make that determination?
Well, okay, I can. Okay, so.
Well, I don't even understand the answer to the question. Like, he's trying to hedge his bets for some reason. Like, under what circumstance am I supposed to answer this question? As president, and you're the one setting the tone for the Democratic Party. Like, am I wrong?
No, yeah, that makes sense.
What a dumb fuck answer. What do you think of that, Todd?
Yeah, I mean, it does feel a little bit like dodging the question. Maybe he genuinely didn't understand, but if Peterson reiterates it and he's still not really answering it, then it becomes like, okay, you don't want to answer this question because
clearly
you're afraid of offending your base
Yeah.
in case you do get the primary, and then you're in a general election suddenly against DeSantis or somebody like that, and you need this hard left base to vote for you. And it's like that's the problem, is you're beholden to these voters. You're not willing to step out and realize that honestly, this is probably a pretty small faction within your own Democratic
Yeah.
base, and you just won't tear yourself away from it.
I just don't understand why it isn't easy to say, yeah, the diversity, inclusivity, and equity shit needs to go. But let's see let's see if Pearson can rephrase it, and let's see if RFK will play fucking ball.
When the Biden administration took office, one of the things I also discussed with the Democrats I knew was how the positions that were going to be filled.
I'm gonna get a drink while this plays for a bit.
That were now vacant because of the transition in the presidency, how those positions would be filled and who would they be filled with. And one of the things I was told was that there was a dearth of available bodies on the Democrat side. And it's hard to get people involved in politics. And so that many of the positions were filled by people whose views were quite radical in comparison to the centrist, into the, say, mainstream centrist Democrat ideal. And so, and I see this as, like, I would say Kamala Harris is a good example of that, because I think Kamala Harris is inexcusably radical. She tweets out support for the notion of equity nonstop. And equity is not equality of opportunity. And so, I mean, I think you'll be called on to make those decisions. For example, if you did establish a presidency, when you were trying to figure out who was going to make up the bulk of your administration.
And I think, there you go. That's exactly the context in which, someone like RFK Jr. would have to make decisions about what is and is not crossing a line in the Democratic Party as far as how you staff those positions. I mean, Kamala Harris is the example of the left going too far, because they said that the credentials didn't really matter. I want a black female vice president. Like, I don't know about you guys. That seems like where it's already gone a little too far, where they're picking candidates based on qualities and not on merit.
On capabilities and merit.
Yeah.
I would never want to be a token anything. Never in my life do I want to be a token. Like, we hired you because you're black. We hired you because you're, whatever. No, I want to be hired because of my abilities. Like, this is super anti MLK Jr. Like, do we not understand this? Like, I want. Do we not understand that? He thought that one day maybe people would be judged by the, not by the character, not by the color of their skin, but by the was it by the character or content of their character, content of their character. And this is clear. We have gone backwards. We've gone backwards.
We have in a big major way, but I think RFK is about to answer this question. And I think I think Pearson did a pretty good job of reframing the question, exactly what context he would have to make those decisions. It might be in how he fills his cabinet.
And I know Democrats, because they like the free flow of ideas, have a hard time drawing distinguishing lines. And so they have a hard time distinguishing the centrists from the radicals, but they have been captured in many ways by the radical viewpoint, and it's Democrats by the radicals, in my estimation. So it's a curious problem.
I have so many people right now who are flocking to my campaign that are high quality people that whose views about life and politics I respect. Some of them are Republicans, some of them are independents, some of them are Democrats. And I don't have any anxiety about being able to fill all the key positions in my administration with people who have, who I think have a common sense approach to life.
What kind of answer? That doesn't even an answer.
He's spinning it into a way where he can brag, like, well, I've got so many good quality people that I don't even have to worry about it. But you're still like, if you're running a business, if you're creating a team, you have to make determinations about the qualifications people have that get them in the team or the business or the crew or out. And he's not really articulating that. So this is the biggest thing that stuck out to me in this interview with RFK. Like, I'm glad a Democratic candidate for once is actually going on, someone who is, now seen as like a right-wing darling and is trying to do, to do things other people are not and try to skirt legacy media. But the way he handled this answer just completely, I'm like, well, this dude's a non-starter. And it looks like it was the most, I think I might not be the only person, because it seems like it was the most replayed segment of this interview. This is actually kind of cool that you could see that now. Well, I'm going to close it out a little bit, take us out a little bit longer. Did you know that Gavin Newsom is proposing the 28th Amendment?
Oh, yeah.
To the You saw this?
Yeah, it's big, tiny dick energy.
Yeah. So what essentially he wants to do is
Dude. I think the Chinese own him, or something. It's like he's someone's. I don't know what it is, but he is compromised.
I agree. I mean, I don't understand how he can really look at what's going on in his state and think it's a good thing. I hope that the people up in Northern California can get their free state of Jefferson because holy shit, does this look awful. Now, let's look. Let's take a look. The first. It looks like there are 4 main points: raising the federal minimum age to purchase a firearm from 18 to 21.
Well, we can't protect ourselves, but we can get drafted.
Well, this is what I say. Everything everything has to be 21 or not. Like porn, tattoos, drinking, service, guns. Like just either make it all 18 or all 21. I don't care, but just make it consistent because it really doesn't make any sense that you can, sign your life away, sell yourself to the government for 4 years, and you can't. There's a lot of the things you can't do. But again, the difference between beer, tattoos, porn, firearms, right? One of those things are enshrined as an American right. The others are not. Because we don't have a. Do we have a constitutional right to purchase and exchange currency? Is that in there somewhere? I gotta take a look.
I'd have to take a look too. I don't remember.
Yeah, mandating universal background checks to prevent truly dangerous people from purchasing a gun. Okay, but how do you determine that? Instituting a reasonable waiting period for all gun purchases.
What is reasonable?
Yeah, exactly.
What does that word mean?
It's a
Because a
sticky
10-day
one.
wait in Cali is super unreasonable.
Yeah, because like, hey, I just broke up with my boyfriend. He's violent, and I need to protect myself. And I'm sure in 10 days I'll be fine. Just surround yourself with other people.
Yeah,
fine.
right.
But what if you're alone? What if you're a single mom? Barring a civilian purchase of assault weapons, this is still nebulous and has not been defined. Serve no other people than to kill as many people as possible in a short amount of time. It's a deterrent, like it's any other. Every weapon functions like that. Like this is going to be used to harm you until you leave me alone. Weapons of war our nation's founders never foresaw. This is such a stupid point because it completely disregards that there were high capacity firearms back in the day and cannons. I'm pretty sure cannons do a lot more damage than
Do we
rifle.
forget that America asked for privateers on the high seas to help them, like randos that had warships?
I guess these
Like,
guys
did we?
did.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the founding fathers could never imagine weapons of war. These dudes asked private dudes with warships and an entire crew to help kill Brits. Shut your mouth. You are spinning history to make your own agenda come to life. That's all this is. When you take it's like what's that rapper's name?
Exhibit.
No, what?
The
Dude,
meme?
what?
I thought you were going for.
Where did you get that? No.
I thought you were gonna do one of those jokes like, hey, homie, we got you. I don't know what rapper were you thinking?
What
of?
the hell?
What rapper were you thinking of?
First of all, how do you know who Exhibit is? Now I'm concerned.
He's in the meme, dude. How do you not know who Exhibit is? He's in the
I
meme.
do know dude, I'm black. I know who Exhibit is.
Yeah, Exhibit.
No, Samson.
Samson. Oh, that's right. That guy. He's great.
Yeah. He asked in one of his songs, if you take the word gun control or you take gun away, it's that's all that it is at the end of the day.
No, I was engaging with some people on that point because I'm trying to figure out ultimately what is the goal of supposed gun control, and not what the politicians are pushing, but what people are like. What does the average American want when they say that they hear gun control and they support it? Like, what are they hoping? What do they think? What is it they think they're supporting? And it seems to me they think they're supporting less death or less violence. That's what they think, right? Does that sound about right to you? You think that's what they're probably crowing about? They really truly believe that if they support gun control, they are supporting something that will result in fewer death.
I want to believe that no one here is twirling their evil man mustache, but at some point,
like if you take them at their word.
Yeah, like Hitler, right? Do you think that Hitler thought what he was doing was evil? Probably not. He thought it was correct.
Yeah.
Just like any other National Socialist that either A, took part in Kristallnacht,
Yeah.
or anyone that took part in concentration camps, or war crimes. They're like, this is the correct thing to do because the Jews and the Gypsies are a direct threat to Germanic people and the way of life and our way of life and our purity, versus saying I hate Jews and we're gonna kill them because it's evil and no one likes it.
Yeah.
The obviously objective morality tells us we probably shouldn't holocaust anybody.
Yeah, but a person's individual sense of what they're fighting for and what they're advocating for might be a little different because maybe it's because, like Todd said earlier, people don't have like a longer view of that. Like they have what they
Yeah, who's
experience
this
in the
guy?
moment.
Curtis Swires. Ours will definitely oppose this. Ours want the violence.
Yeah, so
Dude, have you seen any like city inside, in the inner city that like
Yeah.
no one I don't know if let me look at Google
Yeah.
real quick.
And while you're
Which major cities have Republican mayors?
Yeah.
The 50 largest cities. Let's go to Wikipedia. The 50 largest cities: New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Democrat; San Antonio, Texas, Independent; San Diego, Dallas, Austin, Democrat.
Yeah.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 out of 50 that are Republican, and 2 of those are independent. So you're telling me that Republicans are the ones. So Bakersfield, California is Republican, and it's by and she is I think she's probably
What's the crime rate in Bakersfield?
she was born in India. Bakersfield is pretty. It's pretty. I don't know. It's pretty red out there. But she was born in India, so shut your mouth, Democrats. There's a Suarez is Republican in Miami.
Yeah.
Gene Stothert, white woman.
But
John Giles, white guy.
let me
Dyer, white guy.
my point's this though, right? These guys say that the Republicans want the violence because in their hearts they believe that what they're advocating for is the path towards less violence. Right? Like let's just presume that. Is
Yeah,
that fair?
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
So the reason why I need to establish that with these people is like, look, what do you really want? Do you really just want to take guns away because they scare you? Do you really believe that you're fighting for something that will cause less harm? Because if that's the case, you're not on the data does not suggest that you're on the right side.
Well, so I mean that's easy to say, but the problem is that you're looking at this, I think, the wrong way. I think there's the I would say average member of the Democratic Party who probably believes that.
Yeah.
But the problem is that these politicians are not thinking that way. The difference between like taking guns away
Yeah.
and I think there's 2 types, right? I think there are those people who actually are looking to disarm Americans for nefarious
Oh
purposes,
yeah.
and I think there are those politicians who you know see it as this easy win. The
Yeah.
idea that like if I take the guns, if I make the issue about the guns, it's much easier to talk about
Yeah.
than it is like actually talk about why we're having all of this violence in the first place.
You're right.
Because
And
then you have to get into mental health. It's a messy discussion,
yeah.
and there isn't an easy target. Like
Yeah.
the point of gun control is like the solution is simple: get rid of the guns, right? And
Yeah.
then supposedly the violence goes away. Ignoring the stabbings and all of that
Yeah.
they have in
And
Europe. But
that's why I don't care what the Democratic politicians have to say, and I'm asking, what does the average supporter, the average
Yeah.
voting citizen say when they are? What do they?
Yeah,
what is it they think that they're fighting for?
I agree with Todd, but I also agree with you in the sense
Yeah.
of
But so check this out. If you're talking to not the Democratic politicians, you're talking to the Democratic supporters or just any voting civilian that believes in gun control is the pathway to reduction of violence. They're wrong. The data doesn't bear it out. There was a study done a little while ago. This is a favorite website of mine, and actually I learned something. I've shown you this site before, Ruben, and I'm gonna tell you something about this site that makes me angry. This shows the number of cases that get reported of defensive gun use deterring harm or death to people, which I find handy dandy. Now, some people will try and say, well, 2023, there's only been 340 incidences. Well, there's still a lot more dead children as a result of like assault rifles. It's like, yeah, but this is just what's reported, and a lot more may not be reported. So as I was, speaking to these people, they tried to make that case here. Like, yeah, wow, 340 times in 2023 versus 1978 gun murders, blah blah blah. What happens with this stupid site is they get this information from the CDC. The CDC had published a study saying that defensive gun use occurs anywhere between 500,000 and 3 million times a year. It's a relatively reliable study. I use this to find this link. Guess what the fuck happens when you click this link? It no longer goes to the fucking article. It got taken down, which is really fishy. Like, why the fuck did this get taken down? I found out that there's actually a story about that exact issue. Let me see if I can find it. So there was a big stink made about this this stat citing 2.5 million people defending themselves with guns to protect themselves from harm, and it got pulled down. Give me a second. I'm gonna find this link where I showed it got pulled down. Bear with me. I was talking to this Nicholas Cope guy for a while. He might actually come on the show. Nicholas Cope here. He's a disabled retired vet. Okay, check it out. Oh, I thought I saw it. Let's see. Here it is. Okay. So I use the archive.is tool to save the article about how it's an important crime deterrent. Yeah, okay. So U.S. Concealed Carry published an article that the CDC removed the study on defensive gun uses because I guess some lobbyists thought that the 2.5 million defensive every year was very, very inconvenient. Let's see. In conclusion, study used by the CDC seemed to have indicated that firearms are more likely to save a life during a self-defense incident than be used to take one in a violent crime. So in America, like if you really want to be on the side of protecting people, you're on the side of arming people. The data does not suggest that removing guns is actually going to save anyone's life. So let's see. White House and Senator Dick Durbin, Democrat of Illinois, in a completely different set of emails. In one email, one of the activists, Mark Bryant, wrote that 2.5 million number needs to be killed, dug up, buried, killed again, and buried again. And that Kleck's estimate has been damaging to the political prospects of passing new gun restrictions and should be eliminated from the CDC's website. They initially resisted the removal of the study, but after a meeting in September of 2021, decided to go forward with the request. Beth Reimels, Associate Director for Policy, Partnership, and Strategic Communication at the CDC's Division of Violence Prevention, wrote, "We will also make some edits to the content we discussed that I think will address your concerns you and your other partners have raised. Never having been consulted in the removal of statistics, Kleck stated the CDC is just aligning itself with gun control advocacy groups, and it's just saying we are their tool, we'll do their bidding. It's not what a government agency should do." So CDC is caving to lobbyists to kill legitimately conducted studies from a while ago that the 2.5 million, and that's just the high estimate, right? The low estimate, there's some dispute about exactly how many times a gun is used in self-defense. The low ball is 108,000 times. I don't know about you, that still seems like a lot more than the total deaths in shootings. So the real question is, let's take the low ball figure. If you want to prevent harm, are you going to take the guns away because they killed about 2,000 people a year, or are you going to subject 108,000 people a year to situations that they could have deterred with a firearm? It seems to me like you're running a pretty significantly bad gambit. That's what we'll leave it for now. I don't know, Ruben. What do you do? If you want to protect people, what side should you fall?
If you want to protect people, you should probably allow them to have the tools that would provide them the best defense. I don't know. It's kind of like how apparently Trump didn't allow anti-tank missiles to be given to Ukraine or something, but then they're like, they need them because it's gonna work, but we can't have guns and we can't have weapons and tools. Okay, I understand that because the politicians are the ones that are corrupt and compromised, and are definitely doing stuff that is going to damage the safety of the United States and its citizens because money is more important to them than
Yeah.
loyalty to the union.
Yeah, fuck them. But I think if we could start showing people that, hey, listen, what do you really want? You want to reduce death? You want to reduce harm? Gotcha. Understand. So do we. Here's the stats that show that gun control won't do that, and responsible gun ownership, in fact, does do that. Anything you want to add to that, Todd, before we close out?
Nope, I think that's good.
All right. Well, guys, thank you for bearing with me. Because of the power outage, I know we lost a little bit of recording, but I think we still got a good hour in. All right, but let's pack it in.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining me tonight. We'll see you guys again next week if you guys want to come on. Ruben, I think next week we're good, right?
Most likely, yeah.
All right, we're gonna record on Saturday, and if nothing comes up. But Todd, if you're available for that too, you can absolutely hop on again. I don't know what your Saturdays are usually like.
Yeah, it'll depend. We'll see.
Excellent. All right, guys, you have a good rest of your night. And to the listeners out there, if you listen to us screech into the ether, I appreciate helping us make sure that message is landing somewhere. Have a good rest of your night and take care.